Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. This is a quote by Michael Pollan, a well-published food expert. Eating is the fourth dimension of wellness in John Travis's Wellness Energy System. As you know, nutrients are extracted during the digestive process and transformed into electrochemical and heat energy. The resulting organic molecules are used to help our body function and repair and rebuild body parts. This is critically important because if body parts are not repaired and rebuilt, then we're at risk for disease and even death. The top two causes of death in the U.S. are heart disease and cancer. Eating patterns affect heart disease and cancer. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn is a surgeon who many years ago, along with some of his colleagues, became disappointed in the way heart disease patients were being treated. Basically, they were given pills or subjected to invasive procedures when it was already suggested that eating patterns affected heart disease. In 1985, Dr. Esselstyn decided to conduct his own small study to look at the effect of eating patterns on heart disease. He enrolled 22 heart disease patients and had them completely change their diet to one that was based on whole foods. Basically, whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables, no animal products, and no oils. Why no oils, you may be wondering? Because oils damage the endothelium, which is the lining of our organs and blood vessels. After 2 years, 17 of the 22 heart disease patients were still adherent to the diet, and for those 17, their heart disease progression was halted. Years later, Dr. Esselstyn and his colleagues conducted a larger study with 198 patients, and results showed the same positive effect of the whole foods diet on heart disease. The body responds almost immediately to a change in diet. Plaque forms when arteries become clogged with saturated fats and animal proteins, and a cap forms over the plaque to keep it from rupturing. By eating a plant-based diet, circulating endothelial cells are increased, and those help strengthen the cap on the plaque to keep it from rupturing. And the endothelial cells can even help shrink the plaque. Plant-based diet promotes endothelial cells and endothelial cells' production of nitric oxide, which helps blood vessels relax so that blood can move more freely throughout the body. With regard to cancer, a large study was conducted called the China Study in 65 counties in China from 1973 to 1975. Dr. T. Colin Campbell is one of its main lead investigators. It may be one of the largest epidemiological studies on diet, nutrition, lifestyle, and health conducted. Mortality data on cancer and other chronic diseases was correlated with two things: nutritional surveys and blood work from 100 people in each of the 65 counties. Results revealed that people who ate predominantly a whole food, plant-based diet had less occurrence of cancer. And not only less occurrence of cancer, but less occurrence of other chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes. But it's hard to eat healthy for some. Why is that? Dr. Doug Lisle says there's something called the pleasure trap. Basically, we're designed to seek pleasure and avoid pain. What killed humans most during our evolution was a lack of food, starvation. So our brains are designed to be rewarded whenever we come across calorically dense foods, like fats and sugars. We get an increase in dopamine, which causes pleasure. Heroin has the same effect. So is there a way to get out of this trap? Yes, over time. Over time, eating whole foods, we can get our nervous system and taste sensations reset so that eventually we'll start preferring the healthier foods. One question that always gets asked about a whole food plant-based diet is, where do you get your protein? While protein is an essential macronutrient, its importance in our diet has been greatly exaggerated. The fact that human breast milk contains 6% protein of total calories and consumed during a time of critical development suggests that the World Health Organization's recommendation for protein at 10% of total calories is more than sufficient. This can be illustrated by the story of Robert Cheek. He was a teenager growing up on a farm in Oregon in the mid-90s. He decided then to adopt a whole food plant-based diet. He was also interested in bodybuilding. From the time he was 15 to the time he was 23, he went from 120 pounds to 195 pounds, all from bodybuilding. which goes to show that you don't have to eat animal protein to put on muscle mass. So in closing, if you've already adopted a whole food plant-based diet, how do you feel? And if you haven't, could you consider perhaps doing a little more research and or taking one meal out of your day today to give it a try?